Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar. I'm Patricia Capella, Conference Manager for Clarion UX Food Shows, which produces several industry trade shows and conferences, including our upcoming Western Food Service and Hospitality Expo, taking place August 25th or 27th in Los Angeles, and the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Show in Orlando, taking place September 15th through the 16th. We invite you to visit the foodandbevshows.com for more information on all of our upcoming events. Today, the Leveraging Technology for Brand Building webinar presented by David Mitroff Ph.D., founder and chief consultant of Piedmont Avenue Consulting, who creates brand awareness, strengthens customer loyalty, and streamlines business processes. David will take you on the business journey of successful brands, their challenges, their successes, and the technologies that can help a brand prosper. A few housekeeping notes before David begins the presentation. All audience members are on listen-only mode, which means you are muted. We will be monitoring audience engagement on the dashboard and encourage you to participate by using the question pane. There will be time for question and answers at the end of the session. This webinar, as well as others in our series, will be made available on our website in the coming week. Now, let me turn the program over to David. David?
Thank you very much. I'm excited to be here today. So today I'm going to talk for about 45 minutes, and then at the end we'll have time for questions. And like she said, you can put questions in the question box over there. So when it comes to leveraging technology, there's several things. When building a brand image, it can be really hard because the marketplace is full of challenges and there's competitors that are going to try to take your spot. Or if you're in a saturated business, like you're a restaurant and there's 20 other restaurants that quote unquote serve the same food right near you. You have to figure out how to identify what makes you stand out. So in this presentation, we're going to go through some success stories, and then we're going to talk about some challenges, and then we're going to talk about how to stand out. So I have a background. You can stalk me and find me. Okay, so we're going to, like I said, I go through and identify some key challenges owners face, discuss the importance of competitive research and company differentiation, outline a plan of action, and help you get there. And I have a lot of practical examples. So including, so we'll just go, challenges to build your brand, competitive research, current marketing efforts, how to differentiate your company, active versus passive marketing, 8 technologies that take you there, a 12-month marketing calendar, and the next steps. So success stories. Some success stories that I like to talk about are, there's so many out there, but it gives you an idea. So with Ben & Jerry's, they were doing just summer corporate catering programs, pretty big events, and they were doing about 20 a year, and they were just during the summer. And what we did was we worked with them to get to 700 events a year and make it a year-round program. A lot of that is strategy, figuring out what works, what doesn't work, but a big part of it is making sure people know that they exist. And so it's about looking at their platforms like Yelp, Facebook, Google, and adding that they do catering. This was sort of Northern California. And then we coordinated production of a sales video. Why? Because if you can watch a video of the catering happening, you can experience, or the events happening, you can see what the event looks like. And then came up with customer loyalty programs, email marketing, a whole bunch of other stuff. And this led them to, increase their revenues by millions, literally millions and millions of dollars for Northern California. So they already have locations, they already have staff, they already have this, they already have that. It's just taking what you already have and leveraging it to get to the next level. Another success story is Kushinbo is a Japanese restaurant. They had one location, decided to open their second, and we worked with them to put them on all the different catering platforms: Caviar, Zero Cater, Eat24, their DoorDash, Postmates. There's so many. And then we again, it's about going through their website, their Yelp, their Google, figuring out how to come up with a year-round business plan that's both short-term and long-term. Because as you know, restaurant industry businesses are seasonal. So how do you make it year-round? Same thing with Ben & Jerry's. The idea was, well, who's going to order ice cream in December? Well, what if we did hot fudge brownies or different things like that? Okay. So some of the key challenges when trying to expand your business or grow your brand or leverage technology is that there is competition. And so you can try to figure out how to make your customer experience unique. How do you stand out? How do you have time for marketing? I mean, your job is just to do what you do, not marketing, right? And then customer retention. How do you get customers to come back? Especially if you're in a tourist location, or if you have a product that might be considered a one-time use or one-time purchase, or you're a product that people think is just, hey, it's the same as everyone else's. So how do you differentiate yourself? So let's see here. So competitive research. This is one of the most important things that we suggest people do, and people don't do enough of this. You'd be surprised, but people will come up with new like mobile apps, or people will come up with new products, or people will come up with a restaurant concept, or a cafe design, or whatever, and they don't necessarily do the competitive research to know, well, is there demand for it? How do they what's the customer experience going to be like? Identify what's the position. Are you going to be the most expensive, the cheapest, the fastest, what kind of design are you going to be? And then it's about looking at yourself and other people, looking at reviews, looking at and seeing what feedback people, and then review social media. So I really believe in doing competitive research. When's the last time you just looked at the other businesses near you, or the other businesses that do what you do? Just look at their website and go, oh, that's interesting. They also have this service. We don't have that service. Well, actually, we do have that service. We just don't tell people that we have that service. It's really eye-opening to do it every once in a while. So how to differentiate your company? Create both short and long-term goals for your business. With appropriate planning, you can begin to build and plan for your brand to stand out from the crowd. So what are some of the strongest things you have? So the things I look at are, what are the strongest things you have? What are some of the key tactical things that you have? What do you do that other people don't do well? What's tactical? So what's your greatest strengths? What's tactical? And then what are you excited about? What are you passionate about? What are some of the key strengths that you have that make you unique? And really, if you highlight current clients, you highlight strategic partners, you highlight contracts you have, it makes you stand out. The other is, how can you focus on your unique customer and unique customer experience? Nowadays, I'd say, especially with millennials, it's all about experience. It's less about loyalty, and it's more about experience. Like hotel rewards programs, they really have a hard time with like millennial generation. Millennial generation just wants to go somewhere unique and different. And customer loyalty programs, especially for hotels, they're kind of the same, and they don't see what makes it, why they should be part of it. Okay, so what differentiates you, your company, your brand, and things to consider. So what is your company value? It could be a mission statement, things like that, but it's more than that. It's just like, what is the value that you offer? Do you believe in farm to table? Do you believe in this or that? Whatever it is, what makes you different? The other thing that can differentiate you is technology. Technology, by telling your customers that you have a certain technology, by making it easy for people, like the Ben & Jerry's example, to order online. Before, people had to call. Then they would send them a contract. Then they would have to fax it back or scan it in. Then they have to, and it makes it really hard for people to buy your stuff. So how can you use technology to make it as easy as possible for people to buy your stuff? I know that there's different buying styles out there. Some people, they like to do a whole bunch of research before they buy. Some people, they just go, well, it sounds like a good thing. They feel it. It's intuitive. They buy. Other people, they want to ask their friends or their colleagues what to do. So just because you have a certain buying style doesn't mean that the customer that you're working with does. Because think about it, maybe 25% of people have the same buying style you have. The other 75% don't. So if someone calls and says they just want to buy your stuff, how hard do you make it to let them buy their stuff? Sometimes you want to educate them, make sure that they understand what it really does, or what services you really offer, or what kind of, if you're doing a private event at your restaurant or something, what it is that they're going to actually get. But you have to be careful not to get in people's way and let them just buy stuff. So are you approachable, affordable? Do you connect with them emotionally? Is it very clear? If I go to your website, your social media, or go anywhere, is it clear what you do, who you serve, how to buy your stuff? And my experience is it's usually not. Another example is, you pretend that you're from another planet, and I land on your website on the first page. So the first page of your website, does it tell me what you do and who you are? Okay. So what we're going to do now is go, what can you do? So let's see. So right now, when it comes to business growth and marketing, there's several activities that most people are doing, or they're not doing all these usually, but they're doing a different variety. So one is on the left is active marketing. So active marketing is during the day, AM. Passive marketing is PM at night while you're sleeping through it. So active marketing is things like cold calling, doing direct mail, hosting events or going out and to events, forming strategic partnerships, giving talks. It depends on what you're doing. And then referrals and introductions. So referral, this is an important one, referrals and introductions. So referral is, hey, can you refer us to somebody, or can you refer somebody to us? People go, well, if I'm going to refer you, I better know you, I better trust you, I better learn everything about your product, I better know how much you charge, I better know how it works, and I want all the materials, and I want to know everything. Versus if you just say introduction, which is, in my opinion, the same, it's very similar. If you say, can you introduce me to somebody, or that takes all the pressure off. And so instead of saying, can you give me a referral, change that to, can you introduce me to somebody that might benefit by talking to me? That makes you grow your business a lot faster. It also takes the pressure off, because if they refer you, they're theoretically vouching for you, and they're going to have to spend more time. Introduction, they could even say, like, I don't really know them that well, but I just met them, but I think you guys might benefit by talking. So I find that works. The last one is email marketing. So active marketing, AM, during the day, these are all the things you could be doing depending on your business. And if you do a mixture of these activities, you will have higher level of sales and higher level of customers, and you will have more engagement. Now, passive marketing, PM, while you're sleeping, theoretically. Passive marketing is a place like your website. Yes, you update certain parts, but in general, your website is very passive. It sits there. Magazine ads, billboards, some of these things are very passive marketing. You put them out there, and they're there, and over time, it leads to longer term results. But you have to do a mixture. Now, what's amazing about social media, or a lot of technology, is that it's both active and passive. So what I mean by that is, right now, if you post something on Twitter, that means it's happening right now. Or Instagram, you take a picture of your special of the day, the special pizza today. You take a picture, you put it on Instagram. Hey, come in today, this is our special pizza. You don't delete that from Instagram tomorrow, you leave it there. So 6 months from now, 7 months, 2 years from now, someone's going to Instagram looking through, there it is. So what's great about social media and a lot of technologies is that it's active marketing right now and passive marketing later. So this event is a good example. Events is active, but also becomes passive later. So events are great. If you do a webinar, a workshop, a private event, a catering event, you host a happy hour, and you promote that on event platforms and promote that across your social media. You send out email newsletters about that. You invite people to the event. Whether people come to the event or not is irrelevant. It doesn't matter if people come. It's nice that people come. But that's only 20% of your job. 20% is when someone actually shows up, that you have food or that you have something to talk to them about or whatever. But 80% of your job is before and after the event. Before the event is promoting, hey, this event is happening, check it out. Hey, this is what's happening. This is who we are. This is what we offer. And you're using it as an excuse to be, frankly, to invite people. Use an excuse instead of, if someone calls you right now, would you like to buy our stuff? That doesn't feel so good. They mail you a letter. Would you like to buy our stuff? They send you an email newsletter. Would you like to buy our stuff? They tell their strategic partners, would you like to buy our stuff? Versus saying, I'd like to invite you to an event we're having. Even if they don't go, they feel good. And most people don't go. So instead of calling, saying, would you like to buy our stuff? You're calling saying, we'd like to invite you to come by our business or check out our product or try some of our food. We'd like to invite you to come to some event we're having. That feels good, okay? So that's active marketing. But guess what? You invite them, whether they come or not, you still send them a thank you email, you still post on social media, you do a whole bunch of activities after the event, and then it leads to even more opportunities. So it's all about how you can do what you already do and leverage all these platforms. And so I'm gonna go through that. But real quick though, when you do all these activities, active marketing, passive marketing, all the things I just described, what's the point? What's the goal? And I would argue for most businesses, it's going to be a phone call. Definitely for professional service providers, it's usually, hey, a complimentary phone call. For catering, phone call. Now, if it's a brick and mortar business like a restaurant or cafe, you want people to come in. So instead of scheduling a phone call, you say make a reservation or just come in. So what you want to do is look across all your platforms and go, oh boy, am I actually saying schedule a call everywhere? Because I find most campaigns when it comes to marketing, they're not consistent. So look across all your platforms and make sure that you're saying the same thing over and over and over and that you're consistent. What's the goal? Why are you doing these activities? To get people to come in, to get people to call you. If you want people to call you, you have to tell them, call me. If you want people to come in, you have to tell them, come in. All right. So let's see. So next is 8 technologies to take you there. So I'm going to go through these 8 technologies, and what you want to do is, this is being recorded so you can listen to it again, but if you want to take some notes on each one of these, what I can do to grow my business. I'm going to go through these and give you feedback and advice on how to grow your business. So the first one is your online presence. So go to Google and search your name. Do you show up? Do you have a Google listing? Have you claimed it for free? What I mean by that is that you just go google.com, you put in your name, and to the right, when it pops up, if it doesn't, you need to claim it. But if it does pop up, it'll say, are you the owner? And if it says, are you the owner, that means you haven't claimed it. You need to click it and for free, put in a Gmail, and it will let you set it up. And now that you've claimed it, you can adjust the photos, adjust the hours. You can do all kinds of stuff that you really need to do to make sure you show up better for free in Google. Some people are paying Google, and they haven't even really optimized for free all the stuff that Google allows you to do. So now if you have nothing on the internet or nothing on Google, then you can say you can Google for business, and a page will show up and it says, hey, put in your address, put in your name, put in your phone number. We'll see if you already have an account or not. And then if you don't, it'll walk you through how to set it up, and it takes like 10 minutes. Okay, but Google is the monster. Google controls so much. You want to make sure that you show up. Search engine SEO is search engine optimization. The whole point is that if you optimize Google for free without paying, you can pay if you want, but in general, you don't need to pay. You just need to optimize your listing about yourself, the photos, about the business, the services you offer. The more you tell Google, the more you're going to show up for free. Okay, so number 2 is email marketing. Email marketing is one of those things that people tend to overthink about, and it's one of the biggest technologies you can use to grow a business, and people miss out on it. So there's different platforms that I like. There's Robly, MailChimp, Constant Contact. They're all pretty much the same price. If you have nothing, zero email marketing at all, don't even have a sign up on your website, you might want to try MailChimp, because MailChimp is free for the first 1,000 or so emails. If not, all 3 of them are going to be the same price, $20 a month or whatever if you have more than 1,000 emails. Okay. Now what's great about email marketing is this. Email marketing, it doesn't matter what you put in it, because no one reads it. Well, then why am I sending it out? Well, because the from line from David Mitroff, People on Advertising Consulting, and then the subject line is you're invited to this event, or check out our new whatever. You don't say buy our crap. You invite them to something, or you say, hey, we just formed a new partnership. We think it's exciting. Then you put a couple of sentences. Hey, we formed this new partnership. We're really excited. Here's a link to the page on it. Done. Send that out. If you send that out, a good open rate is 20%. So that means 80% of people are not going to open it. If 80% don't open it, why am I sending it? Because there's a few people that don't, but in general, 95% of people are going to see the from and the subject line. So what's happening is people are thinking about you, even though they didn't open it. And that's the beauty of it. So what happens is people obsess on email newsletters and think, oh, I got to do this and do this and put this in there and put this in there and make it really pretty. And they spend hours and, oh, I need to have an employee highlight, a special highlight, this highlight, that highlight, success story. If you have time for that, fine, but don't overthink it. It's more important to send it out than to make it beautiful and perfect. Even if you get the name or date wrong or something wrong, it still went out. People are thinking of you, and I've seen mistakes in emails, and it actually tended to benefit people, because what happened was you send it out, you put the Tuesday the 5th. Oh shoot, it's actually Wednesday the 5th, not Tuesday. You can then send out another email, say, oh, I made a mistake. And guess what happens? People go back and read. Your open rate goes usually from 20% to 60% when you make mistakes. Why? People want to see the mistake you made. And honestly, putting a Tuesday instead of a Wednesday, that's a common mistake. And everyone goes, Yeah, I've done the same thing. Or that's why I don't send out newsletters myself. I don't want to make mistakes like that. But hey, they did. But this whole time they're thinking about you. So if you do not have an email newsletter, a link on your website, you don't have one in your business, I would set up a free one with MailChimp very easily to any type of website platform. It doesn't matter if it's Squarespace, Wix, WordPress, all of them have plugins for MailChimp that's free. Now, if you do have a newsletter and you've been paying for it or not, and you're not even sending it out, I'd start going, well, wait a second. I can just send out once a month, and it's going to lead to more opportunities, and it works. People think about you, and it leads to more business. Every time I send out my newsletter, I get more business. Okay. So next is mobile marketing and optimization. So if you set up your Google listing correctly, and you set up some of these other things correct, your website and some other stuff correctly, you're going to show up on phones the right way. And it's very important to pull up your website, look at your website on the phone, and see how it shows up. The other is, are you part of different platforms, catering platforms, online platforms, and listed correctly? And do you show up? You need to show up on mobile because more and more people, that's what they're doing all day long. They're on their phones trying to figure out what to do, and you want to make sure you show up right. Point of sale hardware and software programs. I don't know if you're a brick and mortar and you haven't, one of our clients has been around 45 years. We just implemented a new system. We use Pick Toast. There's this picture of Square and Toast. There's all different kinds. But for that particular, it was a pizza place. We picked Toast for several reasons. But there's pluses and minuses to every platform. But with these new platforms, now from the phone, from home, from everywhere, we can track and look at all the data, see what's going on. We can literally on my computer I can pull up right now and I can change the price of something. I can add a new button. So it's about tracking and figure out how to get the most out of your technology. So if you've not upgraded your systems in a long time, it's not as expensive as it used to be. And there's so much new technology out there. I would encourage you to look at your point of sale system, the software, the hardware, what you're using, and how it can make your life much easier. There's other things out there. There's platforms that if you're doing, let's say you're a restaurant and you're doing a whole bunch of catering, and you have a tablet for DoorDash, a tablet for Postmates, a tablet for Uber Eats, a tablet for, there's a program called Chowly, CHOWLY, and there's other ones, but it literally pulls all those tablets and it funnels them right into your point of sale. So now you don't have to ever touch those tablets again. So technology can be a time saver. It can also put everything right into your POS. Then it prints it out in the kitchen. Bam, 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 done. So I would encourage you to look at some of that stuff if you haven't in a while. The other thing is, I do this all the time. When's the last time you looked at what your credit card, your point of sale, your credit card transaction rate is? 4%, 3%, 2%. What is it per swipe? Is it based on different types of cards? When's the last time you looked at your payment processing and how much you're paying for that? And pretty much every time I work with a business, I ask them that, and we look at it, we double check. And I've had experiences where we call in and they drop it by 1% right there on the phone, because it's just like when you pay for Netflix or HBO or pay for cable television or Wi-Fi at your house, and you call in, you're like, wait a second, or your cell phone, you call in, they drop the price. So I would encourage you to look at also what you're paying for your point of sale system, your payment processing fees. Okay, number 5 is social media. Now, when it comes to social media, that's very broad and huge, and there's all kinds of things. I want to highlight a couple. So it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in. LinkedIn is super powerful. LinkedIn is, if you do not have a LinkedIn profile for yourself as a person or for your business, you want to do that, and you want to do it for free. And you want to have that because if you want investors, or if you want to expand, or you want to franchise, or you want to open other locations, or if you want to do anything, people do look you up. The people are stalkers. And when they stalk you, you want LinkedIn to come up, because LinkedIn is a great way to control your brand and your personal brand, your company brand, and it shows your successes. And if I'm an investor and I see that you're on LinkedIn, it adds another level of sophistication to you. Platforms like Facebook, for business, it depends on what kind of business you're in, what your products you're selling. Twitter, I just sync up Twitter where it automatically posts from Facebook or LinkedIn. Again, it depends what kind of business. If your customers are predominantly, let's say, female, and you're doing like weddings and events and stuff, then you want to be on Pinterest. If you're food, Instagram is all about food. Instagram is all about photos. Instagram is all about experiences. And so you can set it up where, like I said, we have a pizza place, and we post on there every day the pizza of the day. That's what we do, and people see it, and people come in and get it. Now, what happens is when it gets to social media, in particular, people get overwhelmed, and people go, oh my gosh, I have no time to do this. What do I do? That's where these two platforms on the left, one's called Buffer and one's called Hootsuite. Those, they have free and paid. The free versions are fine for Hootsuite. And what they do is you can actually map out the next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, the things that you're going to do. Now, don't say it's a beautiful day because it's probably going to rain, but you can map out things ahead of time, and it will auto post to Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, stuff like that. So you can actually map out, each of the next couple of weeks, and so you can do a month at a time, and it makes your life easy and it makes sense. Okay. So video and graphic content. Video and graphic content is where it's all at nowadays, especially like Instagram, YouTube, Pinterest. Everybody's into videos and photos. People want that experience. So there's two parts to this. The first part is, do you have good photos on your website? Do you have good photos on your social media? Do you have good photos in your newsletter? Are you leveraging photos? Are you leveraging those sites? Especially if you have beautiful products or services or whatever. Number one. Number two, are you creating an environment for your customers to take pictures? So, it's kind of annoying sometimes, but customers want to take pictures. Why? Because if they don't take a picture of what they ate for lunch, they didn't have lunch. They actually believe that. They didn't have lunch. If there's no picture of it, it didn't happen. So they want to come into your place and they want to take a picture of it. So do you have a place where, like, if you look at things like Cream, the ice cream sandwich place, right when you walk in, basically you walk in, you get your ice cream sandwich, and then right after you get your sandwich, bam, you turn, and there's there's a wall. It has the Cream logo, it says Cream, and hashtags and stuff, and literally people stop right there and take a picture of themselves holding the ice cream sandwich. So built into their business model, built into the flow of how the customers go through the get the ice cream, get the sandwich, whatever, ice cream sandwich is Instagram. And so every single one of your customers, not every single one, but a lot of them are taking pictures of themselves with your product, with your logo and everything behind them. That's good for you. And then they hashtag it. So they're doing marketing for you. So how can you make your business set up where people do that? Another thing I've seen is at restaurants, they'll have the table tents and say, hey, go to Twitter, go to Yelp, go to this and endorse us or check in and we'll give you something or whatever. That's another way to do it, is just getting people to take pictures or get involved, okay? All right, so customer relationship management. That's what CRM stands for, CRM, customer relationship management. There's different platforms out there. Some are more or less for the restaurant industry, hospitality industry, and some of them, it matters. It's what exactly are you doing? So here in the blue, this is Gather. Gather is one that a lot of people use for like corporate events, private events at restaurants. Excuse me, it has a form on the website and people can fill it out, and then it tracks the form, it tracks the lead, tracks the proposal, it helps you do the proposal, does all kinds of stuff. And then when someone does an event, you can set reminders to follow up with them 3 months, 6 months, a year later and say, hey, I know you did an event 6 months ago. You want to do another one? So customer relationship management platforms are super awesome and super helpful. There's other things like, I'd say the most famous CRM is going to be Salesforce. So Salesforce.com is the most famous. Now, depends on your industry if it is appropriate for you. It might be. If you're doing a lot of marketing and outreach and sales, Salesforce.com can track everything. But really, what kind of CRM are you using, or do you not have one? And have you considered, where do you store all your data? How do you follow up with leads? Okay, so that's something to look at. Tracking and analytics, we talked about this a little bit when it comes to the point of sale system, but also the CRM allows you to do that. At the end of the day, though, most people are not looking at data enough. Why? Because we just want to do what we do. We want to make food, or we want to sell products, we don't want to sit there and look at all the data and track things. But guess what? What I do is I call by the numbers. I do once a month. I do by the numbers, and I have a report, and I keep tweaking and adjusting it. But it's really has the key numbers that I care about, and I see if they're going up or down, left or right. The biggest thing is year over year, right? Typically January is the worst month for food, businesses. So if that's the case, we know that. But then why is but we should staff accordingly. We should maybe come up with new things. Maybe that's the month we come up with we try out new items. So it's just look at your analytics and tracking and data and figure out what it tells you and make adjustments. All right, so those are the 8 things that you can do that make an impact on your business. Okay. Oh, you know what? This is funny. This isn't the right slide. So what this slide is supposed to talk about is the 12-month marketing calendar. So what I'll do is I'll walk you through, and I can email it to you. But the 12-month marketing calendar is very basic. What are you going to do over the next 12 months? Like I just said, January is typically the slowest month. So if January is the slowest month, then that's the month that you want to maybe try out new products. If November and December is when you do a lot of private events, catering, private parties, buyouts, well, it's too late if you're reminding people in November and December. So you need to remind people in September, October. Hey, don't forget to book your private event. Valentine's is February. If you're telling people about Valentine's in February, it's too late. You need to be telling people about it in January, and then as February approaches and February's in, then you tell them about it. So what you want to do is map out the holidays. So number 1 is national holidays. Number 2 is industry-specific events, conferences, trends. What months are big, what months are slow. The next is you want to map out the area that you live, so the local area. So one is national holidays. Next is industry-specific kind of events or trends or seasonality about your business. The next is local stuff. So for example, if you're in a town where there's a huge college football team, well, then you probably want to put those college football game days on your calendar because you know your entire town is going to change and everything about it's going to change. Or if you know that there's a wine walk or whatever there is going to happen throughout the year, find from your downtown association, your chamber of commerce, whatever the area that you're in, your shopping center, find out the different events and put those on that calendar. Now you have a 12-month marketing calendar. With that 12-month marketing calendar, you're going to know what things to put on social media. You're going to know what things to put in your email newsletter, because email newsletter is like, oh my gosh, what do I say? What do I do? Well, if you look and you've already mapped out the 12 months, literally you say, okay, February is Valentine's, July is kind of barbecue, November, December is like buyout events, January, well, just sucks. So, you just map that out and it helps you know there's a big conference in this month or there's a football game here. It helps you map out what to talk about in your newsletter. It helps you map out what to talk about on social media. Helps you get your customers on board. It helps you look at there's a hole here and a hole here and a hole here. Well, then during those holes, what we should do is we should try out new things, or we should do prefix menus, or we should try to do more offsite events or whatever. So again, what we covered was some of the challenges that are faced, competitive research, how to differentiate yourself and your company, your brand, active versus passive marketing. Which active marketing and passive marketing activities are you doing? And what's the goal of those? Is there a consistent message? We talked about the 8 technologies to help you grow your business. So again, are you using social media? Are you doing an email newsletter? When's the last time you looked at your point of sale system? When's the last time you looked at your credit card processing? We talked about then just leveraging those 8 technologies. Then we talked about the 12-month marketing calendar and mapping out a cycle and that makes sense, that you can have control of your business. So what are the next steps? So the next steps is how can you work on your business instead of in your business? So on your business, a lot of people, they don't focus on growing their business. They focus on the day-to-day operations because there's always emergencies. There's always something happening. So what can you do to work on your business instead of in your business, okay? And remember, it's not about timing. Yes, timing does matter, but it's more about time. So these things that I just walk through, some people go, oh my gosh, I don't have time for this. It's not about you have to do it right now or all at once. You just have to set up the 12-month calendar and start doing a little bit at a time. And by doing a little bit at a time, it builds up. You send out that email newsletter. Even if there's really nothing in it, it's going to cause people to think about you. And studies show that 32% of people buy stuff even if they don't open the newsletter. So it's about not timing, but it's about time. It takes time. So what can you do over the next 3 months, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? What can you do over the next year? What can you do to build things in? Now, what I say is, let's say you're starting a brand new business, brand new. It doesn't exist right now. If you're starting a brand new business, opening it, whether it's service or a product, I believe it takes 3 years. That doesn't mean that you sit around and wait 3 years. That doesn't mean that you don't do anything. No, you need to do a whole bunch of stuff. But I believe it takes 3 years for it to really take off. So what you have to do is you have to start mapping out things and start doing things. Start setting up, build the web page, test the product, evaluate customer experience, check the analytics, go out there, give talks, do all the active, passive marketing things. And as you start doing it more and more and more and more, first year, second year, third year, by the third year, you're rocking and rolling and you're doing really, really well. Now, what happens is if you're proactive and you want to open a business tomorrow, you want to open a business a year from now. Start doing what it is that you want to open now. You'll actually get ahead. So the classic example I talk about is for service providers is consulting, which I do. And consulting, you don't just one day wake up and you're a consultant. That doesn't work like that. You just start doing consulting. And as you start doing consulting, you're practicing, whether you do it for free or for paid. Even if you offer it for free, you have people sign a contract and say it's worth $1,000 or whatever it is. So people value it, and you start seeing what works and what doesn't, and you just start doing it. And next thing you know, you are. So what can you do over the next 30 days? You can do an assessment of your current technology. So go through and look at what you're currently doing. This PowerPoint, you'll have a copy of it. You can go through and check through and see what you're doing and not. Next 60 days is create a 12-month marketing calendar and map out your plan, both for sales, marketing, just in general, business growth. Then next 90 days is make adjustments. So basically, you put this together, and then you'll start seeing what's working, what's not, and you can make adjustments. So I think, and here's my contact information, and I think I ended a few minutes early, so we have time for questions now.
Hi, David. Thank you so much. It was a great presentation, and we really appreciate you sharing your expertise with our audience. I just want to remind everyone that this will be sent out to you via email, and also will be listed on our foodandbevshows.com. So you will get a copy of the recording of the presentation, because I know there was a question in regards to that. And I also want to invite any of our listeners who are planning to attend the Western Food Service and Hospitality Expo. David will be a featured speaker there, and he will be speaking on the 9 key areas of social media. And that will take place on Sunday, August 25th from 11 to 12:30. So make sure you look out for that. And David?
I think the first 30 people that go, they get a copy of my book too.
Yes, thank you for reminding me. They will get a copy of your book. So you definitely want to be the first 30 people to show up. And then moving on to the questions, we had for the first one, you talked about catering platforms. Are these local for each market, or are they national? And which ones are the best to use? Okay,
so when it comes to catering, I think that's one of the number one ways that a brick and mortar business can grow. I've definitely seen them add at least 30% more revenue by doing catering. And there's a couple of different options. So one is, unfortunately, yes, most of these platforms are kind of local. So the way it works is like caviar is kind of all over the place, but it's not every market. But caviar, it depends on if you're a high-end restaurant, fast casual, whatever. But so sometimes you don't want to be on it because branding wise, protect your brand. But if you look at caviar, most people know that caviar delivers like different entrees. Most people don't know that caviar can also do catering. And so caviar you can put on there different catering packages, half trays, full trays. You can put together bundles of stuff, and I highly recommend doing that. And that caviar is all over the place. It's not every market, but the next is you look at things like Uber Eats, which charges a lot of money, and it's not my favorite. But then you have Postmates, DoorDash, some of these other ones, and they have catering. Separate from those, that's where you move into other platforms, such as Zero Cater, Zesty Cater. So you have Zero, Z-E-R-O, Cater, Zesty Cater. You have Choose, which is C-H-E-W-S-E. They're based in Los Angeles. You have Cater to Me. So you have, and so Zero Cater, Zesty Cater, Cater to Me, and Choose. Those four happen to be in like they're definitely in San Francisco, Los Angeles. They're in bigger markets, but some markets they may or may not be in your market. So, but then there's other smaller ones. And so what I do is I literally do Google searches. I put in the name of the city and put catering platforms, and I see what shows up. The other thing you can do is you can call Zero Cater, Zesty Cater, Cater to Me, Easy Cater. You can ask them, hey, are you in our area? They'll say no, not yet, but if we do, or they say, you know what, we're actually expanding that way in 6 months from now, so we'll put you on the list, and you might be one of the first people on there. But yeah, definitely. So and now the way those work is some of them they will deliver for you. Other ones they arrange everything and they take a percentage, but you deliver. But like some of these, like Zero Kit, you can set a minimum of $500, $1,000. You can set a territory, and you end up getting some really good, like Zero Cater, you get some really good stuff out of it. Zero Cater is headquartered in San Francisco. But what else? There's also just on Yelp, you can, if you're allowed 3 categories. So for example, let's say you're Chinese restaurant, it might just say Chinese or Szechuan or something. You want to have 3 categories. You want to have Szechuan, dim sum, catering. So you're allowed to add that as a choice. And if you add that on Yelp, you will get more calls for it. So right now you want to look at your Yelp and what 3 categories do you have? Do you have pizza, salads, and that's it? Well, then add catering or add something else. Now, Yelp is a little weird, and I'm going to go over this in my talk coming up pretty soon at the conference, but Yelp is a little weird. I've done a lot of work with them, but Yelp, sometimes you put 3 categories, it yanks one off. You have to put it back. It yanks it off, put it back, and eventually they'll stick. But yeah, but I would, let's see, what else? Yeah, it's just you have to search around Google and keep finding and calling. And then sometimes they'll say, oh, we already have a quote unquote Mexican restaurant. Then you have to go, well, but we have other kinds of stuff. We have this and this. Give us a try. Or you have to just keep calling back until they take you.
Great, thank you, David. Our next question is in regards to Google. Can you talk a little more how to increase your ranking on Google and how do you get to the top of the first page?
Okay, so there's several things about that. In my opinion, the number one is content marketing. So without paying, it's going to be organic content marketing. So content marketing is, does your website have any words on it? Or does your website just have pictures? If your website only has pictures, there's no way you're going to show up number 1 on Google. There's no way you're going to show up on the first page. If your website has text and the text says more and more information, more and more words about what you do and who you are in the city, you're going to start showing up higher. So there's 2 approaches to this. One approach is what I call city pages. So a city page would be if you're in Austin, Texas, and you do, you're in Austin, Texas, and you do Greek food. Well, if I go to your website, I look at your website, I look at your Yelp, I look at your Google listing, and you're in Austin, Texas, and you do Greek food, how many times does the word Austin, Texas, and Greek food, or Greek restaurant, or Austin Greek restaurant, or Austin Greek catering, how many times does that show up on your Yelp, your Google, your website? And I would argue it probably shows up once, maybe twice. Definitely on your homepage, you might say, we're based in Austin, Texas, and our Greek food is awesome, or whatever. So on Yelp, do you even say Austin in your description? You might not. So therefore, what you have to do is you have to add to your website, say, when it comes to Austin, Texas, and Greek food, like souvlaki or gyro or this or that, or lamb kebab, whatever, think about us. People that live in Austin or the Austin metro area, or in this, and then you start naming other little cities. They come to our place because we have the best Greek food in Austin, in the Austin area. So I've just said that a couple of times. It doesn't sound ridiculous. And if you do that, then you're going to start showing up. Those those are like what I call city pages. So you talk about Austin, Dallas. I mean, you talk about, that's too far away, but here in San Francisco, you'd say San Francisco, Berkeley, Oakland, San Jose, Santa Clara, Sunnyvale. And so you start writing and adding pages where you talk about, hey, if you're in Sunnyvale, our location's only 30 minutes away. You should check it out because we do this. We can cater in Sunnyvale, Greek food. So if you're Greek, or if you're into Greek food, or if you want to try something, if you want to try this dish, that dish, domata, whatever, come check us out. Those are city pages. And the more specific you are, Austin Greek restaurant, Austin Greek food, Austin chicken souvlaki. I mean, that's gonna that makes it more Mediterranean. Whatever, that's gonna Mediterranean food, because that's broader. You're gonna show up. Those are city pages. Next is a topic page. Topic pages are things like how to make the perfect, pizza. Okay, so when it comes to making pizza, there's 5 different styles of making it. There's brick oven, charcoal, gas oven, electric oven, blah, blah. And here at the Pizza X, we believe in letting the customer choose. We actually have one of each type of oven, and we da-da-da-da. So if you want to know how to make pizza, or if you want to try this kind of pizza or that kind of pizza, and you're in Austin, Texas, or whatever, look no further than our pizza place, blah, blah, blah. So again, how to make pizza, blah, blah, blah. So what's happening is someone goes to Google how to make pizza, or different styles of pizza, or if they put in the different styles of pizza that are available in Austin, Texas, you're going to show up. So those are good pages with real content that is valuable. However, you have a lot of keywords and key phrases. So keywords are going to be Austin, Mediterranean, Greek, whatever, and then gyro, and all the different kinds of lamb kebab. Key phrases are going to be Austin Greek restaurant, the best Greek restaurant, or how to make or the best way to make a pizza, or how to make a pizza, or the different things like that. And if you do content marketing like that, you will rank higher in Google. That's kind of I know that was a lot, but that's one thing. The other is on Yelp, on Google, and on your website, you want to make sure that you have your specialties. Specialties are things like, so if you're doing Szechuan, so you want ma pao, which is the tofu, you want xiaolongbao, which is the dumpling with the broth. You want to actually list those, or tantan noodle. You want to actually list, we have tantan noodle. We specialize in tantan noodle, xiaolongbao, this. By listing those, and you put those in Yelp, you have about the owner, about the business, you have about the owner, about the business, specialties, about the owner. So about the business, specialties, about the owner. Those 3 sections on Yelp and Google, you want to fill those out until they turn red. You can't type anymore. So about the business, specialties, and about the owner. And if in the specialties you put, we specialize in tantan noodle, xiaolongbao, hagao, sumai, whatever, in this Cantonese, but you just put on different things. People Google xiaolongbao, and you're going to show up. Okay. And if you put that on Yelp, Google, and your website, you said 3 times. And then on there you say Chicago, xiaolongbao, whatever, and you say that 3 times, you're going to organically show up, and you will notice that I would say within 2 weeks, you will start being on the first page. Now, of course, you can pay Google, but why pay Google, Yelp, anybody until you've done all the stuff I just said for free first, and see what works? Why pay for a keyword or key phrase if you're getting it free? And so if you're in a big city that's really competitive, and you just put Chinese restaurant, it's going to be hard to show up. That's why you got to pick specific things like tantan noodle, Why? Because not many people take the time to put tauntaun noodle. So by putting, we fresh tauntaun noodle, blah, 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 you know, and then you'll see that you show up for that. And if you show up for very specific things over time, you'll start showing up for more and more general things.
Great, thank you so much. We have about 3 more questions here. The next one is, what are some of the most unique promotions you have seen that work?
Some of the most unique promotions I've seen that work. That's a good question. I think that I think at the end of the day, it's about knowing who your customers are and knowing how the promotion fits with your customer experience. The worst ones are like you just do a Groupon where someone comes in once and buys something for half off. That's not good. Or doing open table pop where you pay $7 for someone to come in at a different time, and then they don't come back or something. That's the worst. The most unique or different would be, I like promotions that like prefix menus. I know that's not really, but I like doing special different like Bastille Day or some unique holiday, or having a band come in, like a Cuban restaurant, have Cuban music, or we have a Chinese restaurant that we work with that they have a guy that does face changing where he has these masks and he changes his face during service. And there's kind of fun stuff like that. Or so what's happened, instead of saying, hey, we're discounting, because I'm not a big fan of discounts. Instead of saying we're discounting, we're adding on something. We're adding on an activity. We're adding on, we're giving you more. That's kind of what I like. Instead of giving getting less money. What else? Another one I like is where 2 businesses partner together. So a donut shop and an ice cream shop partner together, and now you can have a donut ice cream sandwich, and their businesses are near each other. So what's good is I have the ice cream from I'm the donut shop. I have the ice cream from the business that's 5 doors down, and the ice cream shop has my donuts and they're 5 doors up from me, and we can cross promote each other, and people like that. It supports both businesses. That's a good promotion. Both of us are doing Instagram. Both of us are doing email newsletter. Both of us put it on their websites. It's a win-win, and neither of us are losing money because we're both upselling. That's a good promotion.
It sounds like a lot of great buzz too. I like that. The next question we have here, who in the company handles all of this, or is this something that should be outsourced? And if so, what kinds of companies should we look for?
Yeah, this is a common question. So at the end of the day, if you do a 12-month marketing calendar and you map it out yourself, because you know your business really well, and someone can help you do that. But in general, if you know your business better than most people, so since you know your business better than most people, you could realize, if I just ask you, okay, tell me about the average January for you. Tell me about average, and especially if you have numbers from the last 5 years, last year, 2 years, whatever, you can tell me with the numbers. You can tell me with how you feel about it, what you think. You can tell me, you know what's going on with your business. So if you tell me this month is this month is this, right away we're starting to already come up with what are some good ideas. So that's kind of and that's overall strategy. Then it moves into who's going to post on Twitter. Well, that's what it comes at. Do you have to do Twitter? No. Do you have to do LinkedIn? No. Do you have to? No, you don't have to do any of this. But you have to figure out what it is that you like doing, or what it is that your employees like doing, and figure out what's going to actually work. If it doesn't work, why are you doing it? So now, can you outsource it? Yes, 100%. Now, different outsourcing ways are, there's companies out there where you pay them whatever, $300 a month, and they'll just do it for you. The problem with that is they're going to be doing the exact same thing for you that they're doing for everybody else. And I guess, hey, that's great. They're putting a picture of your pizza up every day, or special pizza. Fine, that works. But if you spend more than that, or if you get someone internally, one of your current employees or a new employee that's excited about this, they're gonna make it more customized and more personal. So there's a balance there. And yes, there's lots of companies out there. I don't necessarily recommend any of those. I'll do a free phone consultation with you. You can go to my website, schedule a free phone consultation, and I'll tell you, hey, if I was you, this is what I would recommend. You could do, and then I'd recommend how you could outsource it or use some of your current members. some of the stuff is kind of, once you get past, it's kind of like when you go to college, excuse me, or if you're taking a math class. Oh my God, math. As soon as the teacher says math, you go blind, So, so this stuff is not as scary as it looks if you can pick something that you're already doing. For example, if you're already using OpenTable, why aren't you pulling the emails out and just throwing those? If you're already using Square can automatically send follow-up emails to people that come in. Just and why not go in and set those up? It's included in your contract for Square or Toast or whatever. So it's like a lot of times I find people aren't using stuff that they already have access to. But they go, oh my God, it's too much to set up. It's not that bad, and kind of once it's set up, it's set up. I don't know if that answered the question. Hopefully, kind of. But like I say, worst case or not worst case, but you can just schedule a free call with me, and I'm more happy to. I won't charge you. I'll tell you, hey, if I was you, I'd do this, based on your personality type, based on the type of business you have, based upon your goals.
Thanks, David. And actually, before we move on to our last question, is it possible to forward to the slide just to show the show dates, that are upcoming show dates?
Here.
Thanks so much. Just so everyone can check that out and hopefully come visit you at the Western show too.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yes. So our last question here is actually about Toast. They said, we currently use Toast. Can we run the different online ordering platforms through Toast?
Yes, but it's not as, I think we just spent the last, for one of my clients, we spent about 45, I'll say 60 days, probably 60 days to get that to work. It's not that Toast is a problem. It's not that the other platform's a problem. It's just that it's rather frustratingly complex, because what happens is, so what we do, yes is the short answer. The long answer is you have Toast, and Toast in itself, certain ones can theoretically run right through Toast. Maybe Caviar, I can't remember right off the top of my head, but it actually syncs right into there, supposedly. But to set that up, you have to tell Caviar, and to set that up, you have to tell Toast, and the technician from Toast and the technician from Caviar have to know what they're doing, which a lot of these people, they don't. Then you have other platforms like Chowly, Chowly, that you pay for, I think it's for let's say 3 of them, maybe it's 99 bucks a month or something, which is worth it. Or $79, I can't remember, but let's say it's $100 a month. So for $100 a month, it'll run DoorDash, Postmates, and Caviar straight into Toast, and it's right in there. And and the tablets, you just lock them in another room so employees don't touch them, and it's running. So we have that running right now at one of my businesses, but it took us, there were certain times when it was very painful, but overall, I would say that process is probably a 60-day process. Not that you're doing things for 60 straight days, but yes. And when you do set that up, it is life-changing, because everything's directly in your POS. You don't have all these tablets going ding, 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 ding all over the freaking place. And I'm more than happy to talk to you about that and how to set that up. But all these things, it doesn't matter if it's Toast or Square or whatever, they're all more and more and more of them are capable of funneling everything through. And if they're not, you can still use some of these, there's platforms that will take all the tablets, put into one dashboard so you can see it all there, and then you still use your Aloha or something, but at least in one place you have all of them. And this makes your life much easier. It also allows you to track which one's performing better than others, and you can decide which ones to cancel or whatever,
Great. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time today, and I know that I'm really looking forward to seeing you at the Western show. This is going to be an exciting session. And again, just to remind everyone, you will be getting a copy of the presentation sent to you via email, and you can also find this again on our foodandbevshows.com website. Thanks again, everybody. Have a great afternoon, David.
Thank you. You too.